How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Grizzly's Cave. This is Grizzly Andrew, and I have two very special guests today. This is actually a first for Grizzly's Cave. I take that back. No, this is a second for Grizzly's Cave, but this is the first for this year, having two guests, and I will introduce them shortly. I do want to remind the fans of the next NAW wrestling event. It is next Saturday, July the 18th at 7 p.m. at the Nebo Community Center in Nebo, Kentucky. Doors will open at 6 p.m. Concessions will be available. This is a family friendly promotion. General admission is $8 for anybody ages 13 and up, free for anyone ages 0 to 5, and $5 for anyone ages 6 to 12. And also, folks, I would like to plug my new resale business, Grizzly's Resale Cave. I still have inventory available. You can check out my page on Facebook. It is Grizzly's Resale Cave. Basically, it's got a grizzly bear similar to my podcast logo, and it's got some furniture underneath. Basically, I'm selling stuff at half off retail value. If you see anything that you are interested, you can message me on that page, or you can message me at grizzliescave@yahoo.com. And also, if anyone out there would be interested in sponsoring this podcast, you can email me at that same email address. And if you would like to donate to Grizzly's Cave, my Cash App or cash tag, as they call it, it's the $ Grizzly Wildman. All right, without further ado, I would like to introduce my next two guests. They have not only been making waves at NAW since February, but they've also been making waves at many other independent promotions. This is going to be my first manager wrestler combo, so there is a first definitely for this show. The manager, I gotta say, hands down, a damn good mouthpiece. Folks, I know I don't cuss much. I gotta say, he's a damn good mouthpiece as a manager, and his client, I've trained with him before. He's strong. He's got a good mind for this business, and they both have great futures ahead of them. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Bloodhound, Zach LeGrand, and his manager, D West.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Man, it feels good to be on Grizzly's Cave and watching the episodes and everything. And I knew I wanted a piece of it. So when you hit me up on TikTok on one of my videos, I had to shoot the invite out there, man.
Well, it is an honor and a privilege to have you both on this show, and I'm very impressed with both of y'all's work. And y'all are definitely making a name for yourselves, and I'm very proud of you both. So I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show, as well as traveling down to Princeton and stuff to be on site for this.
It ain't nothing, man. Right after we leave here, we got to shoot down to Richmond, Kentucky, EWA. We're going to check out their show, probably see what kind of social networking we can get done there. You know, that's a big thing in the business is learning how to network. And it's not all what you can do and what you can say, but it's who you know.
This is very true. Richmond, my God, that's a 4 hour drive from here.
It's a haul, brother.
Well, I did go to the DOCJT over at Eastern Kentucky. It's been over a decade ago, and I always dreaded that long drive. But man, they had a nice campus. They had a nice gym, and but what time is the show that you're going to?
Well, the bell time it's at 6 their time, right?
Ooh,
There's a time zone
Well,
change.
6 open up. Bell time is 7 p.m.
okay.
Okay, so we'll be able. I'd say by the time we leave here, I mean we ain't gonna get there on time because it'll be a while, but we won't miss much. I don't think so. We'll have plenty of opportunity to get there, see some good work and get done in the ring, and possibly see who we can meet.
Hell yeah, awesome. So D, you said you've watched the episodes. First of all, thank you very much for that, and I want to thank all the listeners, followers, subscribers, and I do want to also remind the fans that I'm on YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, and iHeartRadio as well. So y'all know I don't really have a set format. It's not like RF video or kayfabe commentaries. I'll ask some questions and y'all can answer, and then I'll chime in. And honestly, I do get scatterbrained, so just bear with me. So, Mr. LeGrand, I know a little bit about you just from previous interactions we've had, but I'll get back to you in a second. So, Mr. West, tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Well, as Andrew has reiterated, my name is D West. I am the manager for the Bloodhound, Zach LeGrand, one of the most dangerous and skillful technicians currently in the world of professional wrestling. Um, we have been on this endeavor since February in the world of professional wrestling, but however, we have known each other for going on about 8 years now. Um, I walked up to him one day. I just happened to meet him at the right place at the right time and saw that he was training with NAWE. And he invited me to come aboard, and I did so. And ever since February, we've been on this wild ride. I mean, I knew by looking at Zach, knowing him as not only a friend for his personality, but knowing him as an athlete and knowing him as the type of competitive mindset he has, I knew he was going to get far in the business anyway, and I know he's going to get far. And he knows that I like to talk a lot of shit, and I like to make sales pitches. So we just kind of took our chemistry that's been there ever since we've known each other for years, and then we brought it to the world of professional wrestling, and we've, like you said, we've made waves in a very short amount of time. Um, I was confident it was going to happen, but me and him both are blown away by how fast it's all happened. Um, like, for example, August 29th, we're going to actually take a booking in Memphis, Tennessee for,
Wow.
it's crazy, but take a booking in Memphis for a world record attempt battle royal. It's being, the promoter is Gunnar. I want to make sure I get his last name right. Is it Udy?
Oh, Sid's son.
Sid Vicious's son, Udy, yes. And he, but it's a great opportunity and it's an honor. I mean, I just had to, part of the reason why I got here a little bit later and I was anticipating the day was because I went ahead and just bought a new car. That way we could handle the driving, you know.
I understand that.
And but it's been a blast, man. But I'm excited to talk about whatever we got going on and whatever you want to know. We're open books, so just go ahead and ask, brother.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Mr. LeGrand, as I mentioned earlier, me and you trained some, which this would have been around March or April of last year. And I know you took a break, and then you came back. Now, when exactly did you come back to resume your training prior to making your debut?
I came back about 2 weeks before my debut. Actually, I hadn't been training very long. Uh, Leading up to the debut, it was funny. It's kind of like everything was just clicking, and then out of nowhere, Derek just hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, I think you're ready, man. We need to get this going. You got gear?" Yep, always, brother.
Um, and I saw that debut and against Captain Alexander North.
Yes, the captain.
Multi-time NAW Tag Team Champion. And buddy, he's tough. He's tough. I mean, hell, I saw him take a superplex from the top of the cage at the December Super Showdown back in December of 24, back when I commentated for NAW. And then, of course, got to see your debut as well, Mr. West, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a formidable duo here. I don't know if Mr. LeGrand shared with you, but I think I may have mentioned it to you as well. Whenever we were training, I had run the idea by him. I said, man, I said, we could be a tag team. I said, we're both about equal in size, and I said, we would both be power wrestlers, but he'd be more the technical, MMA style, and I'd be the brawler. I'm like, I think we'd be a good match.
Mm.
And he said, and I quote, "Man, I'm really thinking. I think I just want to be a singles wrestler.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I just want to be a singles." I'm like, okay, just left it at that.
Well, you would be happy to know that on Independence Day we were in Fort Campbell, as you may know, working Billy Pace Memorial Championship Wrestling,
Mhm.
and Zach's already got a title on his resume. He's a one-time Billy Pace Memorial Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champion.
Kudos to you on that, bud. Now I gotta ask, what was it like? What was it like? Wrestling on Independence Day, but also what's it like working outside?
It's not even our first time working outside, brother. It's great actually, especially being barefoot. I have a hard callus on the bottom of my foot now.
Yeah, he's got that. First time, yeah. First time we worked outside though. Um, it was good that we did it once before Fort Campbell because we worked Shriners Fest in Evansville for Total Chaos Wrestling, and that was on Main Street in Evansville on asphalt. And he had to try to. He was going to borrow my shoes, which is really funny when I wear size 10, he wears size 13, but I had Hey Dudes on. He was like, "Hey, I might wear those out to the ring," and I was like, "All right." So we were sitting there getting ready to break curtain. He was like, he took shoes off. He's like, "It's hurt my feet. I'm not doing it." And I was like, "Well, hope you can build them calluses up pretty quick, brother. It's about to get hot."
I forgot. I did watch the highlights that was shared on Facebook from that event as well, and I saw the folks you were teamed up with. And but I know back when Tough Enough was filming on MTV, back in, I know I'm 40, but yeah, about 24 years ago, the second season they were training outside. They were training outside, and they said the rings are a lot harder and stuff, or that it's obviously working out in the elements. So how was that? I mean,
Well, I can tell you for one thing, I debuted. I wore the tracksuit at Shriners Fest, which was a bad idea, horrible idea. I decided I was never doing that shit again. So when we come around to Fort Campbell, I looked on definitely not Timu, and I got the outfit that I wore for Billy Pace event Warzone. I sweat completely through that outfit, and that was a short sleeve button up dress shirt and shorts. I would have died if I wore a tracksuit, and I know it. And even Zach, that's the most I've ever seen him sweat. Because I'll go ahead and just brag for him because that's kind of my thing anyway. He don't get blowed up. That was the most I'd ever seen him sweat, and I just knew it was because it was that hot.
yeah. I did see that outfit, and I actually messaged you.
You did.
And
I
I
liked it.
told you it was a very colorful outfit. Kind of reminded me, and this is a name that's not really heard about much anymore, but Slugger Jackson, the former Nightmare of Naw's manager, leader, founder,
Yeah, I
whatever.
wonder. I wonder what happened to that guy.
Well, last I heard and saw, he got suspended for attacking Hank Southern, the GM of Naw.
That old guy can kiss my ass. That's all you got suspended for? I'll hit him again. I'll hit him with the towel. I'll choke him out.
I'll beat him with his own arm.
Yeah.
Well, Slugger took the bat to him and put it to good use. At least in his mind.
Oh yeah.
That SOB's tried to come on wanted to come on my show, but demanded that I pay him money and stuff.
Don't let him.
Does that jackass not realize I haven't made a dime off this podcast?
I'm sorry. I heard SOB and I thought you were talking about Hank Southern still. I didn't. Caught me off guard.
No,
Here's my beef with Hank Southern. I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. So check this out. So we got the NAW event, the CNS Memorial Tournament. The whole event was based around that. It was based off of course, the fathers of JC Flash and Justin Styles. I'd never personally met these men, but I've heard nothing but great things about them. My problem, however, derives from this. They had a ladder match that opened the show for the golden ticket, which is essentially, for anybody out there who is a professional wrestling fan but not yet quite acquainted with NAWE, that's essentially our Money in the Bank ladder match.
Exactly.
So, we got John Mitchell, hot young star, debuting. He's a great kid. He's good in the ring. He has a killer knife edge chop. We call it the spot stop chop. We're not going to get into why. Just save the embarrassment for him. But we got DD Jinx. All the ladies want to be with him. I don't know if you knew that.
Don't doubt Jinx.
Don't doubt Jinx. Never. But and then we also got another one of our foes. He is your guardian angel, Suicide Messiah, the Gas Mask Kid, your previous guest you had live, Nick Willis.
I will say this, Nick. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr.
You're fine.
West.
Go ahead.
He is. He's a. I'm gonna have to make this not kidly friendly whenever I post this, but he's fucking. he's a fucking daredevil. And I mean, just some of the stuff that I've seen him do in person. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And there have been times I was worried about him, but man, he will. He's definitely a risk taker. You know.
I'll say this too, Nick Willis, if you're listening. You and the Bloodhound have danced before. Total Chaos Wrestling, the Bloodhound walked out victorious. I know that hurts your pride. Whenever you want to run it back and do it again, brother, he'll be waiting for you.
You actually forgot his most important moniker that he has. It's a Bloodhound victim.
That's right. He is. We put him on the list of Bloodhound victim. Um, the official wins and losses, the whatever likes to get put on the card backstage, that does not matter. What matters is who is a Bloodhound victim. There's yet to be anyone who stepped in the ring with the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand that has not become a Bloodhound victim, other than our dad, Johnny Richards, because he was tag teaming with us. He's cool. Shout out to Johnny By God Richards. He'll take care of us. Swear to God he will. But I will mention this to pick up back on what I was saying earlier. The fourth entrant in that ladder match was Mars. Boy, do I got some words to say about Mars. That guy, I will say this. I'll give him his props first before I tear him down. Hell of an athlete. Hell of a hard worker. He gets in that ring and does stuff that nobody else in NAWE is capable of. I will say that. However, big however, I've cut promo after promo on him. He's been handed things he doesn't deserve. He's a Nepo baby of El Loco Diablo. I actually call him El Io del Loco Diablo.
That means the son of El Loco Diablo, for some of you inbreds listening to this.
That's exactly right. And we felt kind of slighted by that because he kept losing. He kept disappointing the NAWE people and the crowd out there. But he gets the slot in our, like I said, basically our equivalent to the Money in the Bank ladder match. When everybody knows the fastest rising star, the strongest man, the most dangerous man, and the most athletic technician to ever grace the mat in NAWE is the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand. And it's more and more every day becoming increasingly undeniable. Then on top of that, in the CNS Memorial Cup, Hank Southern happened to put Zach LeGrand in what was essentially a 3-on-1 handicap match. Did you watch that match, Mr. Grizzly?
I'm going to shoot straight with you. I did not see that match. Ever since I had to bow out of training because of my back injury, I've watched some stuff here and there. Hell, I didn't even watch the War Games match back in February, and War Games is one of my all-time favorite matches. But no, I have not seen the actual full match, but I have seen highlights of it.
Well, they all ganged up on both of us. I was the manager. I wasn't even doing nothing. I was outside of the ring. I was completely innocent, doing what I always do, not causing any problems. I'm a very unproblematic guy. I'm easy to get along with. But I was assaulted by Rowdy Red. I was assaulted by Felix Rackham, and I was assaulted by Captain Alexander North. So Hank Southern has got something out for the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand, and I think he's jealous. He's jealous of the Bloodhound, just like everybody else in NAWE. But that's my take on that.
If I was a loser, I'd hate winners too.
And on top of that, there was a national title unveiled for NAWE, as you might know recently. One of the first round matches, it was Mars versus the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand. And this is another guy I want to go ahead and talk about for a second. The referee, the former Nightmares of Naw referee, Mr. Dwayne. Brother, you saw very good and damn well that Mars was out at the count of 2. Zachary LeGrand, the Bloodhound, had him in the sleeper hold. He was out at 2, but he counted the 3 anyway, just because Zach LeGrand's shoulders were technically on the mat. So, we've been done unfairly, we've been treated wrong, and we're out not to take part, but to take over, and I think they know that.
So, referee Dwayne. Well, there's a lot I could say about him. He kind of goes whatever direction the wind is blowing. You know, 1 minute he's a straight Naw referee. 1 minute he's a Nightmare of Naw referee. and then all of a sudden he's back to being a straight up and all referee. I think you know he goes in the direction of whatever wind is blowing and whatever's easiest for him. Getting back to Hank Southern, Slugger Jackson had some issues with him. That's why Slugger took the bat to him and all that and put a beat down on him.
Good on Slugger.
And you know, Slugger had some run-ins with Mars. Actually, I think one of Slugger's biggest highlights was when he tombstoned Mars's head into the mat. And then he also he fought quite a bit with Diablo, which is ironic because the last episode, not the last episode, the only episode I've done with Diablo was actually the night before War Games, and he called Slugger Jackson Miss Jackson and said that Slugger wasn't a man. Well, Slugger, you know, got his hands on Diablo as well. Nepo baby, I won't get into all that because you know that's I try to stay out of that type of stuff, but it does sound like that the odds have been definitely stacked up against your client, but you know, I don't want to say like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, but we'll basically refer to him as an unstoppable juggernaut. Would that be a better assessment?
You could say that. That is definitely one of the key factors. But a lot of people, when they analyze the in-ring style of Zach over here, they get something wrong. They look at him and they want to automatically jump to, oh, he's a big guy, he's strong, he's a hell of an athlete. This must mean he's a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse guy. He's a big man wrestler. He is not just that. No siree. He is one of the most gifted technicians I've ever had the pleasure of seeing personally.
Let me jump back because to you, Zach, for just a second. Now you did a competitive powerlifting, if my memory serves correct.
Yes, sir.
Did you compete in? Was it just high school, or did you compete in college as well? Or
I competed independently at the USPA.
okay,
Did it over in Eastern Tennessee. I got first in the 242 Classic Raw.
okay. Let's see. Now, did you play? I get asked this just because of my size. Did you play football?
Oh, yes, sir. I played football.
Okay. Any other sports?
Football, wrestling. I did karate growing up. From there, I've done Muay Thai, Letway, and I've done mixed martial arts. Jiu-jitsu as well.
Mr. West, you got a legitimate badass here.
We do have a legitimate badass on our hands with the Bloodhound, Zach LeGrand, and I will also add to his amateur wrestling experience. He is a two-time Kentucky State amateur wrestling champion in the heavyweight class.
What high school did you? Was it? I'm assuming North Hopkins.
No, sir.
Oh, where'd you go?
I did this out of a club over in Mayfield, Kentucky, actually. It's not associated with the high school.
Okay, I got you.
Yes, sir. There's school wrestlers and there's club wrestlers. Club wrestlers are where the work's getting done at.
Okay. I've never heard of club wrestlers. I tried amateur wrestling when I was in high school. I had 2 matches. I was in the 135, 140 class, which obviously I'm not that weight now. I'm 240 pounds myself.
Hey, that just means you dominate them 135ers, brother.
I wish I could say that. I made the mistake of trying. In practice, I cradled some guys that were stronger than me, and I pinned them. I went for that first thing. Yeah, that was a stupid mistake. Well, I wound up injuring myself and wound up having to pull out. I did do baseball up through my freshman year of high school, and I played Little League. But the schools I went to, we didn't have football. Which I went to private schools, but never did any powerlifting meets. Always wanted to back in my younger years, but I was like, I don't think I'm strong enough for this. So, what's some of your best lifts? And it doesn't have to just be powerlifting. It can be other compound lifts, so I'll just throw a few out there. What's your best bench press?
My best ever bench press in the gym was a 365 for 5 paused. I did that weighing 225 pounds.
Squat?
My best ever squat was 555 on a safety squat bar. On a kabuki squat bar, I did 515.
A kabuki squat bar?
Yes, sir. It's a thicker bar. It's 55 pounds.
Okay.
Feels like you're benching with a bus on your back.
Okay. Deadlift?
Best ever deadlift was 620. Sumo and conventional.
Ooh. Do you prefer sumo stance or conventional stance better?
Conventional. I wanted to see where I could get on my sumo. I ended up tying it. So
Okay.
I'm a conventional puller though.
Okay. Um, overhead press.
Overhead press was 275. I did that on a football bar.
Damn.
Yeah, Tyler Bate needs to stop all that talk of being the big strong boy, because the biggest strongest boy we got right here is sitting right next to me, the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand.
Um. Okay. Well. Uh, barbell row.
My best ever barbell row. I've done 315 for 12 on that.
Jeez Louise, man.
That was beltless. I did it with straps.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I thought I was a strong guy. Mr. West, your guy surpassed me. So I'm gonna name some of my lifts. My best ever deadlift was 425.
Solid, solid.
Best ever bench was 340, but for one. And I use you've heard of those slingshots.
Oh yeah, I love Mark Bell slingshot.
I've been using that since 2017 because I used to bench with a wide grip, but it was messing up my shoulder, so I invested in the slingshot. I had, I mean, I guess unofficially it'd be 340. I was using a Smith machine, but if it was on a regular bar, it would look like 370. So I pretty much subtracted 30 pounds off. So, but I have done 315. I've done single rep sets. I used to, whenever I did squat, this is before the back injury. I did a 405 for 5, but just squatting down to a flat bench and up. I wasn't much on acid grass because I didn't want to be squished like an accordion. You know what I mean? Best barbell row with a belt. I've never used straps on it. Was 255 for like maybe 2, give or take. Overhead press. Push press, I did 225 for reps, but just regular standing overhead press, I think maybe 195. I forgot to mention this, cleans.
Cleans, I've done 275 before. I don't really train it though.
I got you. 205. That was the last ever clean I did. Once the back injury happened, I've really had to modify my workouts. I don't do deadlifts anymore. I don't do rack pulls. I really loved rack pulls. Those are pretty awesome. Don't do bent over rows. I do body weight squats now. Those suck, but when you do a bunch in one set, I mean, it does tear your legs down. I don't do standing overhead press. I use a seated shoulder press machine. I do body weight rows now. It freaking sucks, but you know, when you get older, the heavy lifting, especially if you use bad form, it catches up with you. And it sucks, but hey, I mean, I think I'm still in pretty good shape. I adopted. You follow bodybuilding by any chance?
Oh yeah.
So you're familiar with Mike Mincer?
Mike Mincer. Oh yeah, hip. Actually, that's what I use.
Same here. Except I just kind of took what I did and took his plan and kind of modified it to what works for me. I try to walk a few times a week over at y'all may have driven past it on your way here, but there's a big cemetery. It's called Cedar Hill Cemetery.
Yeah.
One big loop around on the outer boundary. It's like a little over a mile and a half. So I'll try to do 2 loops around to get 3-mile walk in. So I can still bench press pretty good. I did 225 for 18 a couple days ago. So what I try to do is I stick with the same weight for the entire month, but I try to add more reps to it per workout and stuff. So and it's helped. I ain't lost any weight, which is really shocking, especially adding walking into my mix. And for those of you that know me, I'm not a cardio guy, but damn, I thought I was strong, but damn, son, you just made me look like a something.
Oh yeah. Whenever I played football, man, my nickname was Retard Strength.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they used to call me on the line.
Yeah, you want to take one good guess why? Dude, on top of the strength, one thing throughout this interview, Zach's gonna probably lay the groundwork for the stuff he's done, but I'm gonna brag about it for him. That's just again what I'm doing here. His cardio, and you should know this as well because you did train with him. His cardio is unmatched.
I never saw him winded. Now I know you both are good amount of years younger than me. In your early 20s, early mid 20s.
Yeah, we're both 24.
24. enjoy it while you can. Once you hit 30, you kind of start to feel it, and then once you hit 40, you really start to
Yeah,
feel
it's
it.
my last 2 months being 24. Then I hit the real mid at 25.
Quarter of a century old.
Yeah. This guy, he,
This guy.
he calls me Unc over here, but
Two steps in the grave already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 41 in December. So, but anyways, yeah, biggest thing I can tell you both is with working out, make sure you take care of your body. Make sure you're using good form because it will catch up with you. And this is to anybody else that's in the business or anybody that just likes to work out. Good form, take care of your body. Anyways, trying to think. So did you like? Are you familiar with guys like Ken Patera?
I was a little bit before my time, but yeah, I know about Ken.
He was definitely before my time too. So, but first man to ever over military press 500 pounds. Now they said he had ungodly strength, but they said his form was really bad, and he had a shit ton of injuries and stuff. I guess we could probably maybe say the same about Mark Henry too. I mean, we all know who Mark Henry is.
World's strongest man.
Big believer in Chuck Vogelpole, actually.
Who?
Chuck Vogelpole. He used to have to tape up his ribs because of how heavy he would squat.
Really?
Yeah, you should look him up sometime.
Yeah, you definitely piqued my interest.
Do you know Dave Tate by any chance?
I'm familiar with the name.
One of the grandfathers of powerlifting. He said he set up the West Side barbell method.
I thought Louis West did that.
They were more collaborative on it. So
Okay.
Louis, he was kind of like the ground guy for it.
Sure.
And from now on, since Louis Simmons is dead,
Mm-hmm.
now that he's passed away,
Yeah, God rest his soul. But man, that guy was strong even for an old
yeah.
man. But go ahead.
Dave Tate, he ended up picking up that torch and he still carries on it, the methods. He's progressed a little bit. It's still generally the exact same methods though.
There's been there. Have you heard of the guy called the Bloat Lord, Kyriakos Grizzly?
Oh, I love Grizzly.
And no, folks, that's not where I got the name of this podcast from, by the way.
Don't let him lie to you. Nah, I'm just playing. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
Oh, Lord. So, that man, oh my God. Have you done some of the shit he's done?
I Zercher like he does, but I'm not doing it 500 kilos. He's doing Zercher shrugs with over 1,300 pounds. It's insane.
You mean you don't duct tape your weights and hang chains with more plates and stuff like he does?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I've thought about it a few times, but I don't know about it.
Man, I've done the Zercher. I did the Zercher shrug. I was even doing it around the time I met you and stuff. But man, you may have dealt with the same thing. But if you don't have it just right and stuff, man, it'll mess your forearms, your elbows up and stuff. How much have you done on Zerchers?
My best ever, I believe, is like 455 ish.
That's way better than me. I think I somehow managed out 315. But
I used to do it with sleeves on though, because it was bruising the tendons. Dude, I could feel it. Like right here, it'd be all cut up.
Yeah.
Anything over 3 plates.
Yeah, I didn't use. Well, I mean, like compression sleeves. No, I'd do it with like regular long sleeve shirt or a hoodie or something. But still, it was really jacking with me. It sucked, but it was an awesome exercise. But then after this injury, I had to say, I'm done with it. But are you familiar with who I'm talking about, or have you ever heard of him?
I'll just say, D West is the latest achievement in the weight room. I was able to bench press with a teddy bear and a stuffed rabbit on the bar.
Nobody touched the bar on your list.
I got the old Anchor Arms program. Same thing. SpongeBob SquarePants was able to achieve his incredible weightlifting career. But that's just me.
Oh man!
Listen, I'm the mouthpiece for a reason. I'll just say that.
Yes. Oh my God, this is fucking awesome.
My first day training, I took one chop from JC Flash, and I was like, I'm gonna be a manager.
I know when we spoke on the phone a few weeks back, I took a heat session from JC Flash. Holy shit! That's all I gotta say.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, he works pretty. I remember the second week he was he was doing striking and stuff like that, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
had me as he could have used the live dummy, but he put me in the corner, and he went ahead and gave me a punch to the head in the corner. And I shrugged it off, and I was like, "All right, what's your work punch like?" I mean, it was man, I felt my brain bounce off the back of my head. I was like, "Dude, this guy." Like I'm talking, I'll tell you this, Boss Rootin', I'll know that. Like Boss Rootin', heel of the hand, just pow right over the head. I was like, yo, this guy, I'm good. Like,
I'll say this. I know JC's got his own thing going now with RPW. He's still my best friend. I hold him in very high regards. But and I'll still say he's the heart and soul of that company.
he absolutely is. I will absolutely give him his credit there. No, nobody there would be where they're at if JC Flash did not give them a chance. Myself or the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand included. Respect is where it's due.
Absolutely.
He took a chance on us. There was people that didn't believe in us, if you could believe that, and he just they didn't know. I never cut a promo for him, nothing like that. I just hit him up on the phone, talked to him for 2.5 hours about wrestling and things like that, and uh, eventually he was just like, "All right, we'll put him out there with you. You go out there and we'll hand you a mic." And he put me out there, and apparently he was satisfied with the level that we delivered because we're still going to this day. And like you said, we were hitting multiple promotions. It's NAWE, it's Total Chaos Wrestling, Refocused Wrestling. Of course, Booker Johnny Richards and Billy
Our father,
Pace,
by the way.
our father for real, and Billy Pace Memorial Championship Wrestling.
Kentucky Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
Yep, that is true. Only reason I forget to mention that one is simply because they had an opportunity. The booker Jonathan, what was his name?
Jonathan Hampton.
Jonathan Hampton.
Great guy.
That's right. He put out a post, and I wasn't able to make it to Whitesburg that day, but Zach was, and they had him in there, and they took a look at him, and gonna go ahead and break the news here. We actually do have a booking with KCW coming up on October 3rd. Am I right?
Yep, October 3rd.
We're hitting Kentucky.
Whitesburg, Kentucky.
We're hitting Kentucky Championship Wrestling. It's just how fast everything's grown for us. It's just blown me away.
5 months. That's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I put on the resume. Oh, that reminds me. Remember, I mentioned to you. I said I was talking about putting out your resume and how people really, really, really look down on using AI for your prompt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and get into that right now. By the way, you can check that resume out on Pro Wrestling Bookings on Facebook, and I'll go ahead and you can DM D West on Facebook. I'm verified, by the way, and I can send that to you. So I put all of our information on there. At the time, I put 4 months pro because it was less than 5 at the time.
Sure.
Put all the notable names we had worked, all the promotions we had been. I typed all of it myself. The pictures that are on the flyer are also real pictures that I put on the prompt. It was just formatted by ChatGPT because I asked one of my mentors, one of the veterans there. I'm not going to name him in case he's embarrassed by the fact that I got shredded over it. I don't know, but he I asked him. I was like, I got this resume here. How do you want? Do you have any tips on how I can format it? And he's like, well, put it in the ChatGPT. It looks good. So I did that, and there's this one guy that posted this picture, and it had several flyers up there, just like generic AI templates. He's just trying to shit on us and troll us a little bit, is what I thought initially. And I told him, I was like, look, brother, I appreciate you trying to bury me behind your keyboard, but your troll card is denied today. And he was like,
got verbally tied up, son.
yeah, that's right. The Bloodhound Zach LeGrand ties you up in the ring, and then I tie you up in the promos verbally. That's how this works. This is why people are so overwhelmed when they decide that they want to step to the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand, because they don't think of the hidden factor. The hidden factor is me. The hidden factor is D West. But after that, I hit up this graphic designer, I gave him $20 of my real human monies. And he was like, bro, I'm going to make you a graphic that's so much better than the AI one you had posted. You just give me the information. I'll put it on there, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, sounds good. I sent it to him. Brother, that graphic was ass.
I
Like
could have
that.
made something better right now. Give me workshop.
I would have just put out the Apple Notes that I made with all the information on. I would have just posted that, and I would have felt better about it. But of course,
hot dog shit. It was terrible.
yeah, it was awful. Like, so I was like, this is supposed to be better than, and I paid you for this, you know. And I tried to. I even gave him notes. I was like, hey, why don't you put in there that he's a 2-time Kentucky State amateur wrestling champion heavyweight?
Bookers don't care about that.
He's like, yeah, bookers don't care about that. And for the measurements, I have this thing that I always say, and Grizzly, you know, I always say this every time I announce the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand before our matches. I say he is 245 pounds of kick your ass, and he's 6'2" of better than you, fighting out of San Diego, California, the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand. I say that every time, and I mentioned that. I was like, hey, can you put this with the measurements? And he was like, well, bookers don't really care about the flavorful text. And I'm like, it's part of my gimmick, you jackass.
Like, who's getting paid here?
Yeah, exactly.
Provide the service.
Yes.
Yeah, so, he gave me the final draft, and that also looked like ass. And then, so I just said, you know what,
So
brother?
much better, right? Don't forget that part.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's so much better than AI. And I was like, well, of course, there's certain times where even I don't have the heart to tell somebody something. So I was just like,
yeah,
looks great, brother. We'll hit you up if you need anything else. And I blocked him. Lucas Mack, you suck.
what's even better is he added me right after that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm serious.
Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so what I've seen on Facebook, that's your current resume.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I looked at it. I thought it looked fucking awesome. I mean, it's funny you mentioned about Chat GPT, because that's what I've had several different logos for Grizzly's Cave in the year and 5 months I've been wannabe podcasting. I'll just say it like that, you know.
It was wannabe till you had us on, brother. The thing's real now.
Fuck yeah, man.
Legitimized now, brother.
And hey, Chad McCoy, I'm still not paying you all that money. And Slugger Jackson, fuck you too, man.
Yeah, Chad McCoy, you are no longer the best promo in AWE. By the way, I just want to throw that out there. That moniker belongs to the Bloodhound, Zach LeGrand's manager, D West. I love you though, Chad. I'm not gonna lie, you're pretty cool, but just saying, brother.
No, Chad. All seriousness, man, you're awesome, and you're a damn good promo, man. So hopefully I can have you on the show someday. But no, so I started using Chat GPT to create a better logo for Grizzly's Cave, and that's actually what I use for my small little resale business too and stuff. And it's amazing. I mean, just what it can do and stuff.
Well, apparently, according to the hippie jackasses on Facebook, you're wasting all the water, and the fact that we're going to turn into Mad Max in 20 years is all our faults, according to them. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're using Facebook? It's a $1 billion corporation. You care about the environment too.
Think about the billionaires. Stop being selfish.
Yeah, think about the billionaires. You know,
what are they gonna do if they're only multi-millionaires?
I mean, Elon Musk. I mean, you got to feel bad for the guy. He just lost his first trillion.
Yeah, he's about to become the second trillionaire of all time.
Yeah, I mean, big ups to him, man.
Shit, man.
Salam alaikum, whatever he says. I don't know. Shabbat shalom, all that stuff.
I swear, I'm so glad I have you guys here, man. This is by God the most fun I've had. Don't get me wrong, I've had fun with my other guests too and stuff, but man, I've not laughed this hard in a while, so thank you guys. But when you mentioned the ass thing, so this is kind of a side thing, but it's kind of sort of wrestling related. So some of the wrestlers know about this woman I was seeing a while back. I actually met her through Facebook dating. I'll protect the nameless here, but she is blocked and all that, from any kind of communication with me. She had a daughter that was she's 17 now, and she kind of made a comment like that, but it was about fuck, what was it? It was about the internet they had. She was like, "The internet we have is ass, man." But but then kind of wrestling related. This same woman, I was with her for 6 months, and I met her a month before I had to, go away and try to heal up and stuff, which I'm still not fully healed up, which sucks. But she was like, "Well, if you're still hurt, you're not going. Why would you want to go back there? They don't care about your well-being. Blah blah blah. You're not even getting paid. Blah 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 blah." This is just kind of shit I had to listen to.
Was her name Mark by chance? Because that's what she sounded like to me. She sounded like a huge Mark.
Her name was Beth.
Well,
I won't mention last names.
It's all right. Well, Beth, your new name is now Mark. I'm just letting you know right now.
Go join the IWC with your opinions.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to throw this out there, and I said it on my Birth of Grizzly's resale cave and stuff, or I may have mentioned it, I can't remember, but folks, dating apps suck. My last 3 relationships came from Facebook dating, and Beth was one of them. Never again. Yes.
Well, I'll say this. When you think you had it bad going on Facebook dating, you always could have been on Plenty of Fish. It could have been that much worse.
That's how I met my second wife.
That's why she was a Met and not my second wife right now.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to take a moment of silence for Mr. Grizzly Andrews real quick. All right, in my head, the 10 bells have already dinged, so we can move on.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A. But, so, who was y'all's favorite wrestler growing up? Mr. LeGrand, we'll start with you, buddy.
As crazy as this sounds, it's actually Kane.
With your entrance, the way you walk to the ring, I see that.
Oh, yeah. Right now, I take big inspiration from 2010 Ring of Honor Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., though.
Man, I'll tell you this. Zack Sabre Jr., my God, what a technical specimen he is. I watched a lot of his matches with New Japan. I remember in 2018, he won a tournament to face, at the time, Kazuchika Okada. And, I mean, he tapped out guys. We're talking Naito, let's see, Sonata, Tanahashi, and, Ibushi, Kota Ibushi. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the moves he was executing, I'm like, how are these guys not having dislocated limbs right now? But he's such a good wrestler. I mean, he's got a counter for everything. And I know he was IWGP heavyweight champion. Except you.
He doesn't have a counter. Me. You know, Zach LeGrand, the Bloodhound, actually gave me a very, very, very valuable piece of advice when it comes to technical wrestling. He said, you got to think of it simple. You just take a limb, you take a body part, you know which way it's supposed to bend, right? Just take it and bend it the other way. And that's half the battle. But if you're asking the topic of favorite wrestlers, I can see him staring a hole through me right now. This is our biggest point of dissension here when we talk about wrestling. His favorite wrestler at the moment, of course, is Bryan Danielson. My favorite wrestler of all time is Randy Orton.
Get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house.
I'm just saying. Bryan Danielson ties him up.
I'm just saying, you build a wrestler from the ground up, he looks an awful lot like Randy Orton, doesn't he?
Man, it's weird. My goat was doing the bald head thing first.
Oh, well, my goat's clapped your goat's cheeks multiple times. We've seen this.
Oh, my gosh.
But actually tied right now. First match he showed me to prove this point, his goat lost. It was crazy.
Yeah, they had 2 separate occasions. They had a no DQ match that was voted on by the fans on Raw.
It's just crazy how he just somehow picked the one where his goat lost, right?
I didn't even know that one existed. I picked the one that, like, I didn't know they had that very specific scenario happen twice.
Man. Oh, Lord.
But yes, I will say.
I got to throw a second pouch in, man.
Hey, Bryan Danielson. Damn. I will say this, though. Bryan Danielson, he is the greatest technical wrestler of all time, but he's retired now. So the man who's going to fill his slot, the man who's not going to lace his boots because he wears none, is the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand. I will reiterate that.
Um, when I saw you wrestling barefooted, you reminded me of, and I know this is going to be a controversial name to bring up, but Jimmy Snuka was the first one, and then the second one was Kevin Von Erich. What is that like? I mean, I know you said you got a big old callus and stuff and all that, but was it awkward going barefoot?
Brother, I've been competing in combat sports for 20 years now. I've been barefoot probably more time in my life than I've been wearing shoes. Whenever I put on wrestling boots for the first time, I didn't like it. It gave me too much ankle support. I couldn't. I moved all awkward and stuff. Being barefoot it's more natural to me than wearing shoes. If it was more socially acceptable, I'd walk barefoot everywhere.
Well, I will, and I know Rusev when he first started with the, I called it the Empire at the time, but WWE, he was barefoot, and then I think he eventually broke his ankle, and then eventually transitioned to boots. So just word of caution, you know, I know you're not. You even told me this when we were training. You're a ground guy.
Oh, yeah.
You don't go up in the air and stuff like that, and I respect that. And I know you saw me attempting to go airborne. I just wanted to try it, buddy. That was awkward. I see why you wanted to be a ground guy. So I totally respect that. But protect your ankles, man. So, um, but anyways, because you got a long, you both have a long time in this business. Unfortunately, I got started at a late age. Take advantage of this while you can, by all means. Now, okay. D and Zach, I know y'all listen to my episodes, so you know Ultimate Warrior is one of my all time favorites. That's right. Talk to me, Warriors.
Yeah,
Um,
the power of the warrior will go on forever.
and that's sad. That was the last thing that was ever heard from him, and then he died the next day, man. But Taker, Taker's my all-time favorite. Now,
Yeah.
I do like
choice.
Kenny Omega, and it's ironic. I like Kenny Omega, but Jim Cornette's my favorite manager, and Cornette hates Omega. You know, he hates a lot.
Hates Vince Russo too.
Oh, don't even get me going, bro. Don't even get me going, bro. On
Yeah,
Vince, bro, Russo, bro.
All I'm saying is we'll pitch into that undisclosed amount of money that Jim Cornette wants to fight Vince Russo to the death over. We'll do it. We'll pitch in.
We will.
I've seen
Big
that.
Jim Cornette guy here.
We love Jim Cornette. He's great.
I swear, I said this on one of my earlier episodes last year. I mentioned I'd love to have Cornette as a guest. I know he wouldn't be here live, but we could do it over the phone. But because I'm a conservative and I'm a Christian and I like certain wrestlers he doesn't like, I think that would pretty much ixnay it. But I am very old school minded, and a lot of his ideals, I support. You know what I'm
Hey
saying?
man, when it comes to wrestling, I mean he's got one of the greatest minds the business has to offer. It's one of the easiest inspirations to take behind having a certain thought process behind booking or putting together matches or anything like that, or what makes sense and what doesn't. Um, I mean it. I listened to him talk about AEW, and then at first, this was beforehand when I just watched it and was like, "Oh, this shit's awesome. This is great." And then I'd watch it after Jim Cornette, and now all I can do is Zach can attest to this. We watch an AEW match. One thing I say more than anything, be like, "Why would he kick out of that?"
Yeah,
Like
every
he just
Swerve Strickland match.
yeah
ever.
but you know then again those guys must be doing something way more right than anyone around here though because they're on them
Oh,
big
yeah,
national stages. So I'm not gonna sit here and
Yeah.
give an opinion on Swerve Strickland or Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega when it comes to stuff like that because our criticism don't mean shit to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
They're
it's
way better
way better than we are
Right.
right now. However,
at this moment.
yeah, exactly. At this moment, they are better than the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand, but we'll see how long that keeps up.
Um. Did Oh shit. Damn, I just went blank. That's another thing when you get old, you draw a lot of blanks. Favorite matches.
I'll go ahead and take this one real quick while Zach thinks about it because I know his list is probably a mile long. and mine is pretty long as well. Um, you ever have a match that you went back and you watched and you'd seen it like a million times, but say after you've been in the business for a little bit, you go back and you watch it and you're like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I had that thought the other day when I went back and watched the ladder match for the undisputed WWE title between Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker.
Mm,
That was
gosh.
an amazing match. And The Undertaker, I mean, everybody wonders, everybody talks about the memes. Oh, Jeff Hardy was more popular than Barack Obama in 2008 and 9, which is probably true. And I think a lot of that stemmed from, of course, he had the look, he had the gimmick, he had all that stuff that people loved. But what took him to the next level was when he was given that opportunity to compete against Booger Red, as Jim Ross called him at the time. The Undertaker. I don't know why in the hell he tried that nickname. It did not stick, but that's okay. Jim Ross is better than I am, so I'll give Devils due there. But that's one. That's not the greatest match I think I've ever seen, in my opinion. But it's just the first one that come to mind when you ask that. That is one of my favorite matches of all time.
I have any Bryan Danielson and AJ Styles match. When those guys get together, it is magic. It
Mm,
is the perfect mixture of shoot style and professional wrestling.
mm.
Bro,
And
they
I mean on the independents. I don't mean when they're in the Fed. I don't like that kind of wrestling style. It's soft, it's uninspired, it's uncreative. Whenever they were on the independents, that was magic.
But I will
Mm.
say this though, when those two even had a match in WWE though, I mean it was still really, 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 really good.
I do want to add on to what you said there, Zach. So, and it's not with Brian Danielson, but I think back to the AJ match that he had with Shinsuke Nakamura back at Mania. This would be 34 in 2018. Nakamura was red hot. I mean, when they brought him to the main roster, I mean, he beat everybody, including John Cena. Mister, you can't see me, you know.
He almost killed him in that match, I may add.
Well,
See, I mean,
well,
I was watching that in horror. I was like, oh my
Oh
god.
boy, there goes his push. Right
well,
out the
well,
window.
well. I have some comments on that, but we'll do that off recording and stuff. I will quote Jr. It's not ballet. It's a contact
Oh, dude,
sport.
it was horrifying. It was crazy whenever
But
I seen that.
but at that time, not many people were beating John Cena. You
No.
know, he was basically Hulk Hogan, brother, brother, brother.
John
Uh,
Hogan over there.
yeah, but now we got Cody Hogan. And
Sam Hogan.
CM Hogan. But AJ's match with Nakamura, it wasn't bad. Should have been main event in my opinion because Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. And I'm a big traditionalist. Guy that wins the Royal Rumble, main events at Mania. That's how it was for a long time until shit. What was it? 2010. That's when they kind of started veering from that. But then I watched a match that they had that AJ and Shinsuke had about a year or two prior in New Japan, and I watched that match. I'm like, gosh, this match is way better than their Mania match.
Absolute
And
See,
magic.
you see a couple guys and like their resume, what they do in the ring and everything, and you expect a certain quality from them. Absolutely. And we had this similar dilemma whenever we watched the main event of WrestleMania 42 Night 1, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. We had a watch party over there at the Nebo Community Center. We were all watching it, and I looked at Zach and I made the comment because I knew when they were having that match that people were gonna start talking shit online. I knew it. Like I can just feel it in my bones. And I looked at him and I was like, but just bear in mind, this match would have melted the paint off the walls in the Dallas Sportatorium. Just know this.
oh yeah,
Like you got to contextualize it. That's another thing too. That's another thing that affected my list of favorite matches was actually being involved in wrestling. Is like I know now that I know how a match is formatted and how things work. Like it's really you're watching it more as of an art, more as like two people putting together something in front of an audience. And if you just contextualize it, like people always make the joke, Dave Meltzer would have gave this 6 stars if it was in the Tokyo Dome. Everything matters when it comes to a match. The people that are in it, the venue that it's in, the stipulation, everything. And if they had had that same match minus Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee, if they had that same match on a main event of a SmackDown in Evansville, Indiana, everybody would have walked out and been like, dude, that match was crazy. But you expect a certain quality from WrestleMania and everything like that, so people watch that as their WrestleMania main event plus the celebrity involvement. They're like, this is the worst WrestleMania match ever.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So, and this is actually on an episode from the beginning stages of this podcast. Um, I went to a house show in Evansville. My first wife had bought tickets as a Christmas gift. It was the night before the 2012 Royal Rumble, and it was a great show. And to be quite honest with you, the house shows were way better than what I was seeing on pay per view and TV.
Oh yeah.
One of the matches, it was actually the semi-main. It was Daniel Bryan. He was the world heavyweight champion. He had a one-on-one match with Big Show, and that was a really good match. The next night, they both were in a triple threat cage match, and Mark Henry was in there. And some of the stuff they were doing, same thing they did the night before.
Oh,
Also at the house show, main event was You Can't See Me Man, John Cena. For the record, folks, I did like John Cena during his Doctor of Thugonomics run. I actually have a Funko Pop for John Cena during that era. I'll actually show you guys a little later on afterwards. But he had a match with Kane, and Kane had just returned back. He was wearing that Predator mask for his entrance and stuff and all that, and he was donning the mask underneath again. And they actually had a good match, and then they had a match at the Royal Rumble and did a lot of the same things. The only thing that was different was Zack Ryder and Eve Torres were added to the mix for the Royal Rumble match that they had. But I remember seeing Randy Orton. He had a match with Wade Barrett, and that was the match of the night, and that was mid card, on the middle of the card. Damn good match. Oh my gosh, man. Orton and Barrett could put matches together.
Oh yeah.
And Barrett doesn't get a lot of credit, but damn, they could work a good match. My all-time favorite, and it is a Warrior match. Yes, folks, he did actually have some good matches, but he had good people to work with. It was actually him and Hogan, WrestleMania 6. My all-time favorite. So
Probably one of the biggest title matches of all time.
it was. And that set the precedent. That set that precedent, two baby faces competing in a main event, title for title.
Well, that's one thing that I think is going to kind of lend to the development and evolution of independent wrestling is now you get people from Generation Z in the business like myself and Zach and people who have the mindset, a lot of the guys that are the bookers and some of the older talent and stuff like that in professional wrestling on the independent circuit, when they talk about their favorite matches, when they talk about their favorite wrestlers, they mention a Hogan or a Warrior or Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or something like that. And people go to watch these shows, and they are very old school. The format is very old school, and it works for a reason. People call things generic for a reason because everyone knows they work, they use it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're getting into this break of the new generation coming in, you ask me what's my favorite match, and I tell you it's something from the Ruthless Aggression era of WWE. You ask Zach what his favorite matches are, and they're from Ring of Honor. And people are bringing what they watched and what they grew up with. They're bringing that to the product. And I think that's what's going to contribute to the evolution of professional wrestling, especially on the independent circuit. Like, for example, structuring matches. Zach, if you help me out if I kind of stumble here on how it went, but what was it? The baby gets their shine.
Yep.
Then there was the heat, or the cutoff spot, then the heat, right?
Yep.
And then there was the comeback spot, and then you take it home, right?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, give or take, that's what we were formatted. But if you think about it, I grew up watching my mom's VCR with all the tapes she had from Monday Night Raw and the pay-per-views and everything from the early 2000s and the 90s and everything. And that format, that's around the time it started to crack. And it started to crack, and you started to get heels that weren't just chicken shits. You started to get a big a booger red Undertaker or a Brock Lesnar or types like that. People who they could make you hate them without having to act like cowards.
Like Rick Rude.
Like Rick Rude.
A handsome heel right there.
Yeah, handsome heel. I mean, he went out there, hey, you pencil neck geeks, look at the body of a lifetime right here.
Yeah, I'm Jay and Jade, baby.
And then he starts what we call it now is dorking, what I believe it used to be referred to as gyrating in the crowd and getting the ladies all crazy and everything. You can do that and make the guys feel insecure, and they hate you. I mean, there's layers to being a heel in professional wrestling, and I think now that we're starting to incorporate people in the business that have grown up on things that break the traditional mold of what a heel or a babyface should be, they're going to bring that to the product. They're bringing that to NAWE. Mars, he's bringing that to NAWE. He's a babyface, but he's a darker character. He's not a white meat. He goes out there. He has this badass entrance, this badass theme song. He has this aura about him that is very supernatural, sinister, just something like that. But they don't try to insult your intelligence either. He's very obviously the man that you cheer for. The Bloodhound Zach LeGrand right here to my left. Handsome dude, athletic, he can go. You can look at him and tell he ain't no bitch. He's not going to run from you. But you go out there, he can still make the people hate him. He comes out there, we get it all the time. We walk out there, women and children, they love us. But it's my job to say, hey, you're cheering for him? Shut up. I'm supposed to do that. I got it. And guess what? They boo us right after that.
Right.
We counterbalance each other when it comes out there. We get our heat in different ways. He walks past you, you look at him, you're jealous as an average 50-year-old guy who's going to an independent wrestling event. Oh, he's a pretty boy. He's this, oh, well, you jump that barricade, he'll whip your ass. In several different ways. And then you see me up in your face, and you could probably whip my ass by looking at me, and then you just know you still can't because Zach LeGrand will still whip your ass.
Fans, for the record, and I know this has been addressed in the past. Do not jump the barricades. Do not try to attack the wrestlers or the managers. We will kick your ass by any means necessary, and then you will go to jail. Anyways.
There's some things that have changed since the 80s. That's not one of them.
Yeah. So I was at the first small show, and Zach, I saw that you were in attendance for that. We didn't get a chance to speak because it was a big crowd. There were some fans that were trying to get around to attack. I won't mention names, but we're trying to get closer to certain valets, managers, wrestlers, and stuff. And there was an issue at NAW in the past, again, and if I'm not mistaken, this was the same fan that attacked a certain person on the roster and all that. And then I think eventually they wound up putting didn't they put do not cross tape on the barricades? Do they still do that? No,
we got some pretty solid stuff now. I mean, I watch the older videos from before I was involved and everything.
Back with the rope.
Oh yeah, they have
right there.
They have definitely.
They have upgraded a lot. I come in when they had all the glorious stuff. I picked the right time to start. It seemed like.
So when I first attended an all event, they had the ropes like you said. And about a year later, they went to the barricades. And then I know at one point they did have the do not cross tape on there and stuff. But last year's War Games match after the Nightmares won, they were, and I know y'all have seen it, but for those that haven't seen it, there was a certain fan that started lipping off to Max Zero back when he was with the Nightmares, and he was acting like he was going to come across the barricade. Well, there was five of the Nightmares out there, and they were all ready for him. He never stepped over. So.
I got since you mentioned Max Zero, I got a little story about him. So the aforementioned Fatal 4-Way that I told you about for the CNS Memorial Cup, Max Zero decided he wanted to sit in the audience for that. And he was sitting there, and who was it that snatched you up for the chops? Was it Captain North? Captain North. He had Zach there, and he had a couple kids chop him. He was dragging him around ringside, and then he gets to a certain point. Kid chops him, and Max Zero says, "Hey, hold him there." He walks down there. He chops the dog shit out of Zach LeGrand. So, we're going to go ahead and fast forward to June 5th of this year. We're at Refocused Wrestling. That's right. I keep the canon no matter where I'm at. So, we go to Refocused Wrestling. Johnny Hardwood unfortunately couldn't make it. And Justin Style walks up to me and he says, "Hey, I might need you." "All right, sounds good. Who you working?" "I'm going up against Max Zero." I said, "Let me in, coach." So we go out there. We did the damn thing. Max Zero had the odds stacked against him thanks to your old pal D West here. Justin Style from out of nowhere hits the cutter. 1, 2, 3. It's done. Little message sent from D West. I don't have to be, I can be anywhere. We can get at you anytime. The Bloodhound thinks you are not on his level as of right now, so he sends me across the bounds to send the warning shot. So anytime you want to come on down and step up to the Bloodhound, just know you have his attention.
Don't mess with D West.
Or the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand, for that matter. Especially not him.
You were very touchable.
That's fucking awesome. Oh my gosh. I've not had Max Zero on the show. Maybe someday that'll happen. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. I will give the guy credit. He has risen through the ranks as well. He went from being a lackey for the Nightmares.
Absolutely.
And he's definitely been making waves ever since he left that atrocious group. Fuck you, Slugger Jackson. He bought that coat off Amazon.
I bought my last outfit I wore at the Fort Campbell show for Billy Pace. I bought that on Amazon because I was looking on Temu and because you like save money wherever you can, I guess. And I needed it now, so then I went to Amazon. I found the exact same one. Fun fact for anybody out there: Amazon is Temu for bougie people. The same shit is on there for more money.
What he's saying is he paid twice the price for the same product.
Just to get it there on time, because D West gets money. He just doesn't like to spend it all the time.
And for the record, folks, I've got 2 Amazon boxes in my little foyer by my front door and stuff and all that too. So I'm a frequent Amazon shopper.
So if anyone buys Amazon for status, don't. Just go to Temu. You'll be fine. Just be a little bit more patient.
So, we were talking about favorite wrestlers and favorite matches. But you had mentioned about the Dallas Sportatorium. Did y'all ever follow any of the old school territory stuff or watch it?
So, my uncle is a very big territory guy. He's my personal wrestling historian for whenever I need some information on the 80s. I look myself, but sometimes it's better to go to him because you get to hear it from someone who experienced it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you about the Dallas Sportatorium. We are both knowledgeable in professional wrestling, but I don't like to act like I know more than I actually do. I've probably seen more of the Dallas Sportatorium from the Iron Claw than anything, but I know it's one of the legendary venues in professional wrestling. It's one of the meccas of professional wrestling. Is it still a thing? I don't know. Is it?
I can't say for certain. To my knowledge, I'm going to say not that I'm aware of.
But one of your favorite matches came out of an event at the Dallas Sportatorium. Is that where you were going with that?
No. I know that was big for WCCW and all that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was just curious if y'all were, if y'all like to watch a lot of the old territory day stuff.
We dabble. That's about the extent. Like we kind of dabble through it. I mean, because you got to think too, like the stuff we grew up watching in comparison. Even though some people say that the territory stuff is better, and it is when it comes to storytelling. it's just everything we watched is so high octane, like the entire time we were growing up in comparison, that sometimes even the really good matches from back then, even though they're easier to watch now for us because we understand the storytelling, we understand the characters and the motivations. It's just back before I got started, I just couldn't really watch a lot of it because it was just too different. And I know some people are going to hear this and think this is a very unpopular opinion, but this is just me being honest here. I did go back eventually after I started with NAWE. I watched Terry Funk and Ric Flair, their I Quit match at Clash of the Champions. I was very impressed, but I was also very shocked because, like, I expected it to be, when you hear I Quit match, now a lot of people think it's basically 2 degrees from a damn death match. First I Quit match I ever watched was The Rock and Mankind at the Royal Rumble. So like
Hell of a starting position.
I had crazy like
No peak at the first one.
yeah, exactly. I did, and I watched it, and I was tame isn't the word I want to use, but I can't think of a different one right now. Like I was surprised by how little they had to do to accomplish so much, and that's part of the beauty of wrestling in the territories. It's a lot of these guys they didn't have to do flips, they didn't have to do crazy shit, they didn't have to do none of that. They just had good storytelling, blood feuds, technical ability. They took all those things and they said, "Hey, you know, in comparison to today, it's working smarter."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of the vets on the independent scene today, that's how they work. They work smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see Johnny Richards, for example, I'll take him. He gets a lot of his inspiration. He told us himself. He gets a lot of his inspiration for how he gets his heat and how he works his matches from Tracy Smothers.
Mm-hmm.
Swear to God, he does.
Swear to God, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And we went back and watched an old match of his against what was his name, Sidewinder.
Tied him up, son.
He
Tied him up.
younger Johnny Richards.
Full Nelson into a guillotine, brother.
You'll definitely see that he's the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand's pops because it is shockingly similar. He even got to use a move
down to the manager.
That's true. He did have a manager as well. I don't know who this manager is, but I will say you were not on the level of D West, but that's just me.
Not even a level below it, brother.
Not even the level below it, son. But I will say this: Johnny Richards, he tied that guy up just like Zach said, and even busted out moves that Zach. We were watching it, we were studying it on Watch Together. It's how we watch our matches, and we were like, "Huh, that looks familiar." Like, oh, no wonder he likes us so much.
Right.
No wonder he calls you his son. Like,
dude, you hit cattle mutilation too? What?
Yeah, spoiler alert. That is. Well, I'll just say this is a little Easter egg. I think that's okay. The definitive signature move for the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand is the cattle mutilation.
I went down a deep. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. What about you, Zach? In regards to old school territory.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite matches of all time is Nick Bockwinkel versus Mr. Perfect. Funnily enough, I draw a lot of inspirations on my current. I have 2 wrestling styles, right? I have the strong style technician. We haven't gotten to see a lot of that just yet. My slower, more storytelling kind, the Zach LeGrand matches, as I like to call them, I based it off of a lot of what Mr. Perfect does in that match.
God rest his and Bockwinkel's soul.
He earned his nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But I was actually about to say, I went down a deep dive of AWA about 3 years ago, and I actually talked about that briefly with Coy Daniels the first time I had him on the show, and I did not realize how popular AWA was, especially back in the territory days. I mean, let's be real, they were covering more ground than what WWF was at the time, and and a lot of people want to say this is where Hulk Hogan, Jesse Ventura, and all these guys, became stars. Hell no, they were at Vern's territory.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Perfect, his father, Larry the Axe Hennig, Mitch Bockwinkel, Bobby Heenan. Mr. West, one of your outfits you wore kind of reminded me of Bobby Heenan. It might have been a tracksuit or something you wore, or it might have been maybe on your debut. It kind of reminded me of Bobby Heenan.
Everywhere he goes, he gets that.
So that's. I'm gonna be quite literal when I say this in a non-braggadocious tone, believe it or not. I do get a lot of comparisons to Bobby Heenan, but that's not what you might think it means when I say that. I get comparisons through physical appearance for Bobby Heenan when he was younger. Um, one of the first guys that showed us this actually um, was had a backstage run in with El Loco Diablo, and he told me in Spanish that I looked like Bobby the Brain Heenan, and I was like, I don't understand what you're saying, and he handed the phone over to his English translator, and he pulled up a picture of Bobby the Brain Heenan when he was young, and I was like, what's the point? And he spoke some more Spanish, and I don't know why, because he speaks perfectly good English. I think he's just fucking with me. And then I looked at it, and I was like, you know what? I can kind of see it. Normally when people say you resemble somebody, it's hard to see, because, I mean, it's you. But I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I guess out of anybody, that's a pretty good guy to look like when you do what I do.
Well, and I know this is our first time meeting in person, but you're very quick-witted. And Bobby Heenan, that was one of his big trademarks. He was very quick-witted.
I appreciate that.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that very much.
You're welcome. Slugger Jackson wasn't that quick-witted. That's for damn sure. So, anyway.
He's all right.
There was I watched a couple of box matches. He had one with Hogan at the Super Sunday, which back when I had a Peacock subscription, I watched that event. It was a damn good event. I mean, they had a lot of great matches. I don't think Vern, nothing against the late Vern or the late Mad Dog Vachon, but they should not have main evented that match. They should not have main evented that venue. Just gonna say that. But Bockwinkel, he was definitely a class act, like all the veterans have said, and he could work with anybody. And I mean, Hogan he wasn't green. I mean, he'd had a good number of years in the business, but you got to be a good wrestler, you got to be able to work with anybody. And Bach could work with Hogan.
Brother, he made him look like Will Ospreay that night.
Yes, he did.
He made him work.
He did. And I know Andre did some tours with AWA and stuff. Have y'all ever watched I forgot the full title of it, but it's basically a documentary WWE produced on the AWA. Have y'all watched it?
Don't get me to lie to you now.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen that.
If you get a chance, watch it. It is good. Of course, it's obviously WWE's rendition of it, but you hear more about it through like Greg Gagne's shoot interviews and such.
What was it called? The Rise and Fall of the AWA? That's typically their style. They're like, the Ultimate Warrior, the Fall of the Ultimate Warrior. Let's do the ECW. How ECW sucks. Like, they have horrible documentary names.
It was not Rise. It was not a Rise and Fall. And it definitely wasn't self-destruction. It was like Spectacular Legacy.
Yeah.
In the AWA
that's
something.
great.
Wow, look at that.
Oh,
they're bringing things up. That's weird.
Yeah, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. That's what it was called.
Yeah. I'm eventually going to do a series on Warrior, and I'm going to cover that DVD. But I know they patched things up before Warrior passed. I'm just gonna say I wasn't a fan of the DVD. They basically shit on him, in my opinion. But there's a lot I'd like to say on that. But no, it was actually a good DVD, or not a good DVD, good program about AWA. You get to see all the names, not all the names, but a lot of the main names that were big. They mentioned, I believe they mentioned Crusher. They mentioned. Let's see, Ivan Koloff, Superstar Billy Graham. I think they mentioned Dusty Rhodes, and a lot of people that come from there.
They mentioned Dusty Rhodes, baby. Stinger, baby. We gonna put color on your boots. We gonna put color on your tights. We gonna put color on your face. We gonna make you glow in the dark, baby. Then we gonna put you with the nature boy Ric Flair, and we gonna get funky like a monkey if you will. Flair, bring a little cashmere coat around here. Whoo, you gotta love it, baby. Sorry, I just had to find an excuse to do my Dusty impression.
It's all right, baby, if you will,
Hard times in this country is when the textile workers are out of work. Can't buy their wages, can't pay for their food. One of the greatest promos of all time, by the way. And I mean singular promos. Hard times is up there, brother.
And it's crazy to think, and Vince has even mentioned this, but if he didn't have Hogan, he was going to go with Dusty Rhodes.
That would have been the smarter choice, I believe, actually. Because, I mean, Dusty Rhodes embodied the everyday man. I mean, his hiney was a little big, his belly was a little big, but he is bad. And, brother, we knew he was bad.
And he was, my God, he could connect with the crowd. He was so over.
Oh yeah.
He was the common man. Do that common man boogie, if you will.
Well, here's
baby.
this is I'm gonna try to make this a very I'm gonna try to make this as smooth as a segue as I can.
Sure.
But I've had a couple guys they message me about promo work and stuff and how I could help them. Ask me for pointers and things like that. And I've told them, I was like, well, 95% of the time when when there's a promo being cut on the independent scene, it's a sales pitch for your match.
Mm-hmm.
You're selling a match. There's a place for a pipe bomb. There's a place for hard times. There is a place for an Austin 316. All of those promos have their place on the independents, but 95% of the time, it boils down to three things. And I stole this from a video seminar. It's the what's happening, why is it happening, and when is it happening? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? And when can I see it? Because people get on the mic and they try to cut these promos, and everybody wants to be CM Punk, and that's why people get tongue-tied. That's why people get twisted up with their words. Everybody wants to be a Dusty Rhodes. You can't do that. When you're on TV, there's time for that.
Right.
There's segments for that. But just for anybody listening who may be in the business that wants to know they can't quite get their promos right, they don't quite know what to say, anything like that. I used to be in car sales. So that was kind of a build-up for my, call it a transferable job skill for professional wrestling. And it's very simple. Format for a promo is very simple. What are you doing? Oh, I'm facing the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand in a submission match. Why? Because I think I'm the best mat wrestler in NAWE and not him. When is it happening? Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? When is it happening? It's happening September 12th at NAWE, the Nebo show. Okay, cool. So just say this. Zach LeGrand, you claim that you're the best in-ring technician in NAWE, but I, generic superstar number 2, is here to prove you wrong. Because on September 12th in NAWE at the Nebo Convention Center, I challenge you to a submission match. And we'll see if you can tie me up like you've done the rest. Solid promo. Took me, 15 seconds?
Yep.
Sounded good, didn't it? Got the point across?
It did.
That's all you need.
So, car sales, huh?
Yeah, I did that for a little bit.
Well, and I'm going to throw this out there too. If you struggle with promos, public speaking classes, which I took one in high school and I took one when I went to college, and it really helps with stage fright. But don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nerve-wracking being out there in front of a crowd, no matter how long you've been doing this,
Well, Chad McCoy said something to me that was it was rather insightful for his very blunt way of speaking. And he told me, he said, and this is very valid too. You can take all the classes, you can learn the format, but he's told me, he's like, some people just can't talk. Some people just don't have it. And that is very true. That is an aspect of it. It's something that if you workshop it and you learn it, you can get good. You can get pretty decent at it. But at the end of the day, the other two things that matter when you talk about the three things that make a good promo, you got to have your confidence and you got to have your body language down.
Exactly.
Some of these guys, there was a guy that sent a couple videos to me the other day. Again, unnamed people will stay that way. He sent me a couple videos and wanted me to watch them and kind of workshop and see if I had any notes. The content of his promos were great. Like the things he was saying was good. He even got down to three things without me having to mention it. He mentioned what he was doing, why he was doing it, and when it was happening. And it was very good. Like I was invested in it. But I told him, I was like, listen, dude, at the end of the day, he was kind of using his inside voice a little bit, but I said, act like you're in a room full of people and you have to make an announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Speak up, get people's attention, use your body language, talk with your hands a little bit. If you gotta watch people to pull from them a little bit, but don't do too much, because then you're going to look like a copy.
Mm-hmm.
But speak like you're trying to get everybody's attention, have confident body language, have your what, when, and why. Or, I said it right. And boom. I mean, you're going to be better than 80% of the people who try to cut promos and don't take advice.
Mm-hmm. I also I sing at my church, so I'm well praise and worship team. Eddyville Methodist for anybody that's curious. If you're in the area would like to visit a church, you could see Grizzly Andrew up on stage singing,
Praise the Lord.
and it's usually a small crowd, but uh, but it's like 100, maybe 100 people if we're lucky. You know, it's like I said, it's a small church, but that also helps too and stuff. Just being in front of people and being like you said, being comfortable. Um, I'm gonna mention there was a training session. This was about a month before me and you met, Zach. We did work on in ring stuff, but we also worked on promos. And the coach had us all get into the ring and cut a promo, which we didn't have a microphone. We had a wrench that we were using as a makeshift microphone, and I got there a little later just because of church, and I had to get someone to keep my daughter so I could come to training. Went in and did my promo. Oh my God, was I nervous? And this is just in front of the class. I could feel myself shaking, but eventually I got the jitters out. Well, fast forward a couple hours later, another trainee showed up. I think he had just gotten off work or whatever, and I'll leave him nameless. But he was, I'll just say he was in there for a while. You could barely hear him. And one of the veterans that was there that got into the ring, and he said something that has stuck with me to this day. I don't know if he listens to the show, but he was jumping up and down, and he said, "Show some fucking passion."
You know, like you said, people who are nameless are going to remain that way, but I think I got a feeling who you might be
He
talking about.
jumped. I'll tell you whenever we're done here, but yeah, he jumped up and down and said, "Show some fucking passion." He said it about 3 times, and that stuck with me. And I was like, keep that in mind. You don't want to have to hear that speech again. So,
No, no, you don't. Um, I mean, but like I said, at the end of the day, there will be there will be those rare occasions where you have to cut a good long format promo, and that was one of the things I actually had problems with when I first started. Was with my social media promos. They were running a little long. Um, I would cut the camera on and I would just go on a roll. And what I was saying was good. It made sense, but it took too damn long. And I had to send this one promo in to a booker so he could post it on his show, or on his show's page rather. And I kept missing the mark by like just a few seconds. So when I'd
really,
send it to him on Messenger, it would split the video in two.
okay,
So finally, I just got on TikTok of all things. I hit record on the 59-second format and I got everything out. And that has done wonders for me. You'll see an increasing amount of 59-second promos on my page if you look now. Um, and that little thing there, just that's my biggest, I guess, uphill battle with it is I need to get it out
hmm,
and get going. Just because it sounds good don't mean you got to ring it on for 3 minutes.
sure,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. Zach, I was gonna ask, did you have a favorite I mean, what was your favorite? Uh, God, you probably already answered this. I'm telling you guys, I get scatterbrained. I'm gonna start keeping a notepad. Talk about Bockwinkel and Perfect. Did you have another favorite Bockwinkel match?
No, that is the favorite. That is bar none his best match, in my opinion.
Um, I'm sure you're familiar with the late Billy Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there was, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but him and Billy Robinson had a match. It was in Japan, like in the early '90s or something like that, just as an exhibition. It's a good watch, so if you haven't seen it, go give it a look. Um, Billy Robinson, um, man, if you look at him, you didn't really think much, but then when you see him work and you know how dangerous he really could be, puts a lot of things into perspective. We had mentioned about if Vince making the smarter decision and going with Dusty. Had he went with Dusty and had Vern actually went with Hogan, do you boys think we'd still have the territory system, or do you think it would have still at least lasted a little bit longer than what
I
it did?
I think if we would have still had the territory system, it may have been because Dusty would have pushed back. Probably, I'd see him be more of a traditionalist in the ways of wrestling than Hogan may have been.
Yeah.
And if Hogan had stayed with, I believe you were talking about Vern Gagne.
Vern Gagne.
Yeah, Vern Gagne. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he got another Tony Atlas promo.
Shit.
I know some ball, brother. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Fuck yeah, man.
We'll leave it at that. That's all. Well, actually, I will say this: if you want to know just exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't want a vague post on the podcast, just look up Hulk Hogan Tony Atlas promo, and you watch that, and it makes the sex tape with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife make all that much more sense.
Yeah, most definitely. Have you watched Hogan's documentary on Netflix?
Bits and pieces of it.
I saw the first episode. I started to get into the second, and I got sidetracked. But anyways, what me and JC were supposed to do a memorial show to Hogan. Now, granted, there are things he's done in his life that we didn't agree with, and I'm going to stick
Oh no,
that for the record.
I don't want to get it twisted. I'm definitely
sure.
separating the art from the artist here. Like,
Yes,
I get
sir.
it, and him. If someone had a transcript of everything everyone had ever said, we would all be in the same boat as Hogan.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Duly noted, and that's all I'll say. Stone Cold would say, "That's all I got to say about that."
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
What?
And that's the bottom line. 'Cause
What?
Stone Cold said so.
Yeah. I think I'd even talked with Coy about this, but yeah, I think if Vern would have put the belt on up, don't tell Vince I said belt. I don't want to get fined. Can't say belt,
Yeah.
Belts are for around your waist. We have titles.
That's right.
Title will be held with prestige. Damn it.
Or better yet, the Money in the Bank suitcase or briefcase. It's a contract. A briefcase is for
Such good shit.
That's good shit, pal. And I forgot you mentioned Dave Meltzer. I forgot to throw a Bruce Pritchard plug, but fuck Dave Meltzer, as Bruce would say.
Yeah, that guy never gave Kurt Angle a 5-star match, and I will forever hold that grudge personally.
I can't think of a bad match that Kurt Angle had unless you want to count that Daniel Pewter.
Well, the Daniel Pewter thing, that's a whole other thing, but I'll say this. The thing is, Kurt Angle simultaneously does not have a 5-star match, right? But he also has the Wrestling Observer Newsletters Award for the Wrestler of the Decade in the 2000s. So tell me, how does that work?
That don't work for me, brother.
I guess it just don't work for him, brother, because, it's just like, don't get me wrong, if he'd worked in the Tokyo Dome some more, maybe Kurt Angle would be a better wrestler. Who knows? Maybe that's Dave Meltzer's thinking. Maybe he didn't wrestle enough Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and Kazuchika Okada. But, the whole thing is he's too old to do that, Dave, just so you know.
Oh, my gosh. Zach, there was, shit. What was his name? God almighty, I'll think of it later. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, folks. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I know you're checking your phone and stuff. My apologies, guys. I definitely want to have you guys back on the show. Again,
we'll be back for a part two.
Either y'all come back here, or I can do a Grizzly Goes Mobile and come to wherever y'all are at. But is there anything you'd like to say to the fans before we go?
Yeah, I do actually. Just want to remind everybody of some dates we got coming up, promotions we're going to be working. July 18th, we will be in the building for NAWE Declaration of War. Whatever we're saying right now is confidential because we are not on the card as of right now, but our presence will be known. Then after that, we will have Refocused Wrestling on July 24th. The rematch between Mars and the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand will take place inside a steel cage. Then you can go all the way down to the mecca of professional wrestling, Memphis, Tennessee, and catch us in the world record-breaking Battle Royal. In between those, I didn't mean to leave them out. August 8th, we will be in TCW, Total Chaos Wrestling. October 3rd, we'll be in Kentucky Championship Wrestling, and somewhere in between there, I'm sure we'll pick it up. September 5th, Billy Pace Memorial Championship Wrestling. We're going back. The Bloodhound Zach LeGrand is going to win the United States Championship for that promotion. And it's just going to get better and better from there. Side note, NAWE is going to start having 2 shows a month, at least in August. But their first show they're going to have that month is on the 8th, so we will not be there. But all things Bloodhound, all things D West. We are both on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Either follow the Bloodhound Zach LeGrand or D West, or if you're a smart person, follow both. And you can catch up on all things Bloodhound.
Mr. LeGrand, any last words you'd like to say? All righty. Well,
He doesn't talk much, but that's all right.
It's all good. Gentlemen, thank you again for being here on Grizzly's Cave. It was, again, an honor and a privilege to have you both. And, folks, thank you again for listening to Grizzly's Cave. This is Grizzly Andrew signing off, saying take care and God bless.